The effects section is right here in the very middle of the controller. We have two filter knobs for either left or the right side, and by default they will of course activate and control the filter. But they will switch from controlling filter to another effect if we press one of the FX buttons. We can choose which effect is being used with effects from 1 to 3, and then with FX button number 4 we can change the beat value of some certain effects, like the echo for example. Filter is probably the most common effect to be used along with the loops. It's great for mixing in and mixing out what we showed previously. So let's get back to that, but along with using the filter. So we will play the last two phrases of our second long track and then mix in the first track with extended intro, but with using the filter instead of the up fader. So it sounds like this.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
Same can be done with mixing out. You can use either low pass filter or high pass filter depending on which you think will be better for a certain situation. Let's try it. So again, we will set the 4-beat loop on our piano part at the end. We will play it. We will mix in our long track for the first phrase using the low pass filter. And when it gets to the second phrase, we will mix out the piano using the high pass filter.
Get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and get.
Filter don't have to be used slowly for long transitions as we just tried. It can also be used very quickly for some cool finishing moves or transforming effects. We will try to do that along with another loop usage, which is changing the dynamics of the song by switching the loop length on the fly. Best moment for that will be mixing out one of the track with the build-up of the second track and finishing the transition right before the drop. We will start from the most common 4-beat loop and then proceed to cut it in half until we get a really short loop that will give us almost a constant sound. And then we will quickly filter it out right before the drop. Okay, so 4-beat loop on our piano part and the build-up of the second track. Now we will start cutting the piano in half.
Get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and sound.
What goes up now? What's come down?
To make it even more interesting, we can do a backspin at the very end and filter it out along with it. So, 4-beat loop on the piano, build up of the second track,
goes up now? Must come down.
For filter transforming, we have to make a really short loop again, but faster, and then we will play with the filter going back and forth from left to right, again finishing it with the backspin right before the drop.
Get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and sound.
What goes up now? Must come down.
Okay, so as you could hear, I did a little freestyle part after the drop, because if you have the loop set on one of the decks, you can still play around with it using the crossfader, the effects, the upfaders, whatever you can do. You can still play around with that loop with the drop of the second track. You can do whatever you want just to change the dynamics, to remix the song on the fly and make things more interesting for yourself and for the crowd. Transitions like that can also sound great with the other effects like the echo or a reverb. Let's try that. We will activate the echo with the FX1 button and set its strength with the knob. Then we will just stop the tracks with the play button or turn it down with the fader. Okay, so once again, we have our effects section in the middle and we choose the effects with the FX buttons. We will choose the echo on the FX1 button and then we will set the beats with FX4 button to 1.5. As you can see, when I push FX number 4 and then turn the knob, the beat value on the screen will change. I will set it to 1.5 because that's my favorite value to use the echo. So now let's get back to FX1 button and now we will have our echo, which sounds like this. Okay, so let's do the transition. So we have our 4-beat loop on the piano, the build up on the second track,
Must come down.
What I like to do while the echo is on, and I don't see really many people doing it, is what I would call a spin echo. What it means is that you make a backspin or a front spin, and instead of just letting it go until it stops spinning, you can cut the sound right after the spin so it stays in the speakers with just the echo effect. Let's hear it. Okay, let's try it with the tracks, but we'll do things a little bit different. We will set, instead of the echo, we will set the filter on the FX1 button for the right deck. So when we will have the FX1 button activated, we will have the echo for the left deck and the filter for the right deck. So it's gonna go like this. So as you can hear, the same FX button, but two different effects for each deck.
Get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and sound. Get up, down for the bass and sound.
What goes up now must come down.
Another great effect for transitions is the reverb. It's really easy to use as you make it deeper and deeper as the transition goes on. So we have the reverb on our FX3 button. And let's check for maybe some cool effect for our right deck. What do we have here? Let's try maybe a phaser. All right, so 4-beat loop on our piano.
What goes up now must come down.
Another great feature for changing the dynamics of the track is the slip mode. It allows us to manipulate the track with cue points, scratching, or what we practice right now, the loops, but without changing the track's original playback. So when we have the slip mode turned on, we can play with the loops, and when we get out of the loop, the track will get back to where it would be, like we never activated the loop. Using that feature, we can have a lot of fun making build-ups even more exciting, or we can completely remix the drops while having the original phrases untouched. This will require a good sense of where we are in the phrase, but if you can count the bars and phrases right, there's no stopping you. Let's try this out with the build-up first, and for that we will use another mode for manipulating the loops, which was the Shift plus Slicer button, which takes us to auto loop mode with pad modes number 7. So first thing, we're gonna cue to our build-up, then we're gonna activate the slip mode over here, go to the pad mode number 7 here, and start playing with the loops. So build up, slip mode, Shift plus Slicer mode, and now we can play with the loops. Let's try that maybe with our second track. Let's go. Slip mode, Shift and Slicer for pad mode number 7, and we can start to play around with auto loops.
Get up, get down for the bass and sound. Get up, 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 get down for the bass and sound. Get up, get down for the bass and get up, get down for the bass and sound. Bass and sound, bass and bass and bass, 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 bass and sound.
What goes up now must come down.
And now we can remix the drop. So as you can see, you can do basically anything you want with the loop, but you only need to know when to turn it off to let the drop in. You can play with loop length, with the effects, do some scratching, whatever you want, and then just get out of the loop and boom, there goes the drop. That was your boy 69 Beats, right here with Super Hero DJs. Enjoy!